Video, we'll be working with data or a set of numbers. We'll learn how to take the data or the set of numbers about a topic and organize it in different ways. To do this, we'll be using data about pencil wars. In our class, students get 5 pencils at the beginning of each week and earn rewards for the number of pencils they still have by the end of the week. We'll use that data or information from 1 week of our class pencil wars. These 3 displays will help us to organize and more easily read the pencil wars data. We will use a tally chart to make and examine a picture graph and bar graph. All 3 of these displays will help us to better understand the pencil wars data and help us to answer questions about that data. So the first is our tally chart. We organize our data into this tally chart. And the tally chart is giving us information. Here we can see the number of pencils from 0 to 5. And this information here are the number of children. 1 tally represents 1 child. So for 0 pencils, there's 2 tallies representing 2 children. For 2 pencils, take a look. Are there any tallies? Nope. So no tallies represents 0 or 0 children. We can use this tally chart to help us answer questions. So let's take a look, read the questions, try and answer them, pause the video, and then come back. How'd you do? Did you answer the first question? How many children have 3 pencils? Well, let's find 3 pencils here, and we can go right across. There are 5 children with 3 pencils. To answer what is the total number of children in the class, well, we want to check out the children, and what we can do is just combine all the children from the number of pencils that they have. So there's 2 children plus 7 children, that's 9, plus 0 is 9, plus 5 is 14. I know 6 and 4 is 10, so 14 and 10 is 24 children. We can take this information in the tally chart and organize it differently. A picture graph can give us different information organized in a different way. So we want to pay attention to these parts of a picture graph. The title, that's here. That's going to tell us the number of children with pencils. The label is an important part because it tells us what these numbers are counting going across. The key is really important. The key tells us what the picture is and what it represents. So 1 smile face represents 1 child. So here's a picture graph that I've started, and I'm using the tally chart to help us enter the information. So in this chart, I've already started with 2 children for 0 pencils, 7 children for 1 pencil, 0 children for 2 pencils, 5 children for 3. Now I need 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4 children for 5 pencils. Now I'm going to add their smiles in a little bit. So here's 4. Okay, now that my chart's done, we can take a look at this graph and see if we can answer these questions. Read the graph, see if you can answer them, pause the video and come back. So how'd you do reading this graph? How many children have 4 or 5 pencils? Well, we can use the picture graph to look at the 4 pencils, and there are 6 children with 4 pencils. The number of pencils, 5. There are 4 children with 5 pencils. So we can say 6 plus 4 equals 10. There's 10 children that have 4 or 5 pencils left. Now looking at this question, how many more children have 1 pencil than 0 pencils? Well, again, we're going to use the number of pencils and count the number of children for each pencil amount. So 1 pencil has 7 children and 0 pencils has 2 children. We can just simply find the difference. 7 minus 2 is 5. We can even look at the picture to help us. So the difference between 0 pencils and 1 pencils is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can also take this information and we can use a bar graph. So we're going to make a bar graph. Again, we want to pay attention to the title. Here it's number of children with pencils. And now we have 2 labels. So the label going across is counting the number of pencils. We have a label going up and down counting the number of children all the way up to 10. We can use this tally chart to help us make a bar graph. So I've already started this graph. And I've used the tally chart to help me fill in the bars. So 0 pencils, there's 2 children. 1 pencil, there's 7. 2 pencils, there's 0, so there's no bar here. 3 pencils, there's 5. 4 pencils, there's 6, so I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to make a bar across and fill it all the way to the bottom. So we always want to start our bars right from the bottom and fill it in. Trying to be as neat as possible. These drawing tools don't always work the way we want them to. And then I want to look at the next number of pencils, 5. And I can see that there are 4 children with 5 pencils. So I can go over to the number of children, 4. I'm going to make a bar across or a line across and fill in that bar. Alrighty. So now that my bar is all filled in, let's take a look and see if we can answer some questions. So read the bar graph, read the questions, pause the video, and try and answer them. How'd it go? Did you answer the first question? How many children have 1 or less pencils at the end of the week? Well, we can look at the number of pencils. 1, we know there's 7 children with 1 pencil, 2 children with 0 pencils. So we can simply add 7 plus 2, and that is 9 children at the end of the week have 1 or less pencils. Now looking at the second question, what is the difference between the greatest number of pencils and the least number of pencils? We want to make sure we are looking at that object that we need to count. So we're counting the greatest number of pencils, which is 5, and the least number of pencils, which is 0. So we can say 5 minus 0 equals 5. So the difference between the greatest number of pencils and the least number of pencils is 5. So that's it. That's how we take data about a topic, organize it into displays that are easier to read, and use that information to understand a set of numbers and answer questions about the data. Here's one last question to think about or talk over with a friend. Great work.